Good morning, everyone. Been a while since I did an update, so this one might get a little more in depth. I've been busy with the kids running us around and work and everything else. Daughter's starting high school, so it's crazy to play a sport for high school, how much time it takes. Anyway, if you have a weak stomach for gardens that have weeds, disease, and are just falling apart, you probably shouldn't watch this video. But for the rest of you, let's go ahead and get started. One thing I learned this year is that I am not a container gardener. This is like my third year trying. I have not had any success. Yeah, I have these container tomato plants. None of them work. They all get blossom end rot. Don't know if that's because inconsistent watering or if that's from lack of calcium. I did put compost in this year. I did put eggshells in this year, and it still did not work. And still, I get tomatoes on there. They just all get blossom end rot, so I'm neglecting them now. I should just throw them in the compost bin. The tomato plants and the raspberries that popped up behind the fence. The raspberries are looking great. They're nice and big, just like that weed. The tomatoes growing, but just doesn't get enough sun. Got a couple tomatoes on it, but overall it's not doing as well as the ones that get sun all day. Okay, over here in the main garden area, this is the cherry tomato plant, and getting plenty of cherry tomatoes. Yeah, more than enough, so I'm really the only one in my family that eats them, but ripening everywhere. I need to do some harvesting, obviously. And this is the plant that has the morning glory intertwining the whole way up. It's grabbing onto everything it can find, including the tomato plant. But I've decided that it probably hampered the growth of the tomato plant, so I won't allow that next year. Here's one of my many tomato plants that have had blight, and I did nothing about it, so they're basically dying. But lots of tomatoes. Do have a lot of problems with cracking with heavy rains we've had this year. Another cherry tomato plant. This one's a little bit different, not sure why. Some of them almost grow into a grape form. Others are growing true to form to a cherry tomato. As you can see, I've let grass just grow in here and take over. So I'm sure that's hampering the growth of a lot of my stuff. My cucumbers I had high hopes for. There's some kind of disease going through my garden that's getting spread by the cucumber beetles. Killed every one of my cucumber plants, including the one in the pot here. Here's another beefsteak, Gregory's Altai, Sioux, I'm not really sure. Once again, plenty of tomatoes. Everywhere you look. Some are cracking. Has the blight, and it's fighting the weeds, so what do you do? I need to get more time out here in the garden. I just not finding the time. Lettuce that went to seed and bolted. This one I believe is a beefsteak. It also has the blight, but plenty of tomatoes growing. So letting it go for now. I'm sure it could be doing a lot better without the blight. Hopefully get rid of that next year. And my paste tomatoes. I'm not really sure I understand these. Hey, they're turning orange and not red. And it's fighting the blight anyway. The paste tomato, to me, catches blight first, suffers the most, cannot fight blight at all. But I don't know why they're orange. I was hoping they'd be red, but they're really not. More lettuce going to seed, because, I need 4,000 lettuce seeds. Here's my garlic. No idea when to pick this. Yeah, I do have some brown in there. but they haven't all fallen over, so I guess I'll give it some more time. Here's my yellow crookneck squash. It's not doing too good. Okay, it died. Not sure what killed it, but volunteer tomato plants that I'm sure won't do anything. And here's my zucchini. It looks like a tomato plant. Same thing. Zucchini died. Don't know why. Try again next year, I guess. Here I have some pepper plants that I'm going to try to be grafting all onto one plant. Put 4 peppers onto one plant, overwinter it, and then next year hopefully have a plant that has 4 different peppers. So stay tuned for that and see how that goes in future updates. Okay. My bushes I need to trim. Here's the eggplant. Eggplant's doing pretty well. As you can see, the flea beetles are still munching on them daily, but they're big enough now to fight them off. But you can see the damage the flea beetles leave behind. And I had them last year here, and didn't really do a whole lot of fertilizing. And eggplants are heavy eaters, so I don't have a whole lot growing this year. Okay, here's my compost corner, which will be completely redone next year. Move the composters over here to take advantage of more sun time. And I'm hoping to make this a strawberry patch or grow my herbs and lettuce over here. The tomato plant I set up back here. It's got some tomatoes on it. Not a bunch. I don't think it gets enough sun, but it's worth a shot, and if I get a handful of tomatoes, then I guess it was worth it. The jalapeno plant, getting jalapenos, but not nearly as much as other places. The mini yum yum pepper, mini sweet bell pepper, both of those doing okay. Alright, let me see, more lettuce. I should just cut some of these out. Maybe harvest the seeds I have and get rid of the rest. The butternut squash vine continues to grow, but is not really putting on any more butternut squashes. And they're actually, look like they're about ready to harvest already. It seems early, but they're turning tan. And obviously battling a lot of grass that I did not pick. But I think this vine ended up getting 5 of them. Got one there. Got one there. A couple down here. They're all tan. I don't know if I should harvest them already. Give them a little longer. Then I got one buried up here in the grass. I'm pretty sure that's it off of this one. Here's my volunteer pepper plant. Looks like it's a pepperoncini, which wouldn't surprise me. That's what grew here last year. Hey, one of my pepper plants here. Oh, this is the volunteer one. That's the mini bell pepper, and that's definitely pepperoncini. But it actually, as you can see, grew tall, looking for the sun before it started to branch out. It's battling the butternut squash, so that's pretty neat. The Hungarian hot wax is starting to put on a lot of peppers, more than I need at least. Still got volunteer basil popping up everywhere. Jalapeno plants are doing great. Basil's going to seed. This will be the seed packets here, and once they turn brown you can harvest those, but that's all volunteer. I should probably get rid of this because let's see, another pepper plant here, which I think might be another volunteer one, trying to find the sun. Okay, my plants that are doing the best pepper wise are the chili peppers. They're huge. If you take a look underneath it, I'm putting on a ton of peppers. And this is the small one. This is the big one. And it goes all the way over to here. I should be tying these up too. It's just getting so heavy it's falling over. Another Hungarian hot wax. Another jalapeno. Putting on plenty of peppers. Looking good. And this one is a mini bell pepper. It'd be nice when these start ripening and having these daily for lunch. Another paste tomato plant with a cherry tomato mixed into it. That must be a volunteer. Like I said, I neglected this way too much. Actually smothering this pepper plant, which I think is habanero. Yep. I should probably try to dig him out. I like the habanero plant, so I may do some trimming around. Oh, there's our baseball we were looking for. The habanero down there. Sorry about that. Okay. At the Rocotillo plant here. I like this pepper plant. It's got the habanero flavor with half the heat, maybe even less than half. Cool little patty pan looking pepper. I do enjoy this one. It's not really putting on a lot this year though. Ooh, okay. So hopefully he will pick it up. Another jalapeno here. And one of my favorite tomatoes, the Kellogg's Beef Breakfast. These things grow huge. And look at the size of that one. One just as big underneath it. It's a heavy producer. It battles disease really well. Just a nice tomato and makes a killer salsa. When you add some orange bell pepper, orange habanero, very good. It's another mini bell pepper. Yeah, tomato plants are getting so heavy they're falling over from the weight. I use these sticks here, but I'm not putting them down deep enough, and they just fall over from the weight. But there's some tomatoes in there. Not doing as good as I'd hoped. Every tomato plant had the blight, so it's all battling that. Okay, these two are the big bell peppers, and I think I just have way too much grass growing here that it's smothering them out. I did pick one off of each of them, but really nothing else even starting. Got one down there. And another Kellogg's Breakfast with a bunch of tomatoes on it, but getting damaged from this, that, and the other thing. And another red tomato. I'm not sure what this is. This just looks like a regular Sioux tomato. Just a regular red tomato. There's a nasty cucumber beetle. Got away. That's a bell pepper too, I believe. No peppers on it. Green onion, looking good. And then this was a bell pepper too. No new peppers on it. And another habanero. These habaneros are a heavy producer. This is the orange habanero. The regular one everybody knows. So, as you can see, this is not doing well. Basically because I'm neglecting it. I didn't trim the tomato plants. Didn't weed. Next year I don't know if you look back on my past videos, 2 years ago, I got 17 cubic yards of leaves and put it down, and that was absolutely wonderful. Kept the weeds out, tons of worms, didn't have to water. Did not do that this year, and I completely regret it. So I'll be doing that next year, and yeah, somebody needs to talk me off a ledge, but I'm thinking of using non-organic methods to try to control some of the insects and the disease. So okay, so this is that half of the garden. Let me get started on the other half. Okay, here's the other half of the garden. This is the raspberry plants, doing pretty well. Picked about 20 of them yesterday and got some more going here. This and the basil battled the Japanese beetles pretty bad. And you can see the damage they did up here. So I was coming out for a week or two and hand picking them and putting them into this bowl as soap water, and it was killing them. And then about a week ago, week and a half, they just disappeared. Haven't had any since. I mean, not even one. So not sure if they just come and go or what the deal is with that. There's some squash I replanted that's just not doing anything. I guess I just don't get squash, zucchini, or cucumber this year, and I don't know why. Don't know why they didn't grow. There's a volunteer tomato plant that's obviously the Snow White, which is kind of surprising it didn't mix with anything. It grew pure. Came back as the exact same thing. Another zucchini squash plant. And a cantaloupe that's just not going anywhere. And this area is doing really bad. It's just overtaken with grass. Blueberry bush. Yeah, it's not blueberry time anymore. I need to at least get the weeds out of here. That's the blueberry bush. It just doesn't get any bigger. See, that's a blueberry bush. And there's one over there. It's all in the weeds. You can't really see it. Some of my radish that went to seeds. I'll be doing a video today on seed saving too, so be sure to check that out. Beets. Beets grew well over here. Sorry about the shadow. Just haven't been keeping up with eating them. Never home, never have time to cook. Kind of depressing. In this mess here, you can see an occasional carrot top. There are carrots under there. And they actually did pretty well this year. Could have done a lot better if the deer hadn't eaten the tops, but yeah, they're almost 6 inches long, so hard to complain. Another squash plant here. Not doing anything. Bunch of weeds, grass. I'll be redoing all this, digging it up, putting the leaves down. Somewhere in all this weed is a watermelon that's growing. It stopped growing. It has a problem on the growth tip, so it's not growing very well. So I guess that'll be the only watermelon I get. And then this side, the sun is getting a lot less every day. We have some butternut squash. One here, not growing very big over on this side of the garden. One back there. Got one here. They're growing long, just not putting a lot of butternut squashes on. I think I counted and I'll probably get like 10 this year. This is my dream for my asparagus. I planted seed there and neglected it, and the weeds just completely took over, so this is going to take a lot of work digging it up. There's another butternut squash. A little pollinator down in there. Don't see those kind of bees very often anymore. Eggplant over here, completely eaten by flea beetles. Oh, not sure what those are. Hopefully those are not stink bugs. Oh, they're dead now, whatever they are. Okay. Looks like there's an eggplant down here that could be harvested. Come back and get him. Tomato plant back here. Looks like it's got a nice tomato to be harvested here. It's falling over. Stop tying it up. Probably need to dig out my air conditioner before something grows up and ruins it. Nothing but weeds. Some tomato plants trying to grow. Got the paste tomato. Actually has some monsters back in there. That makes me happy. Another tomato plant there. A bunch of tomato plants popping up, volunteering. Okay, and my one and only cantaloupe that's growing this year. That's the only one oh, look at that, there's another one. Got a lot of those last year. I don't know what I did wrong this year. I believe this is another Kellogg's Breakfast. It's got some nice sized tomatoes on it. And then another tomato plant out back in here. Hardly gets any sun, but it did grow a tomato. I guess it was worth it. Alright, as you can see, I have a ton of work to do. Here's a cherry tomato plant. There's a lot that need to be harvested. I have a lot of weeding to do, and it's kind of embarrassing what I've let this garden become, but it's hard to find the time, and this might be a good example of somebody who chews off more than they can handle. I like growing vegetables, but I kind of overdid it this year, I think. Hopefully next year when I put the leaves down, control the weeds, get the kids more involved, I can utilize all this area. Beauty is I get all this area and I can use it all because of the way the sun crosses our yard. The entire house except for the very front gets enough sun to grow vegetables. And then I still have room in the backyard for volleyball. We love playing baseball back here, soccer back here. The kids can still enjoy it. I could even expand the garden here. That might be next year, I'm not sure yet. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, I'd love to hear them. Any ideas, I'd love to hear them. If you could like it, I would appreciate that. You click the like button. And then share with anybody I think that might be interested. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to watching everybody else's videos. I've enjoyed them so far and learned a lot. Okay, happy gardening.